afternoon, good evening. It is still morning for me. Good night. This is Mama Coco. And this is Mama Coco Life and Style Show on a Sunday. Emphasis on style, life living. Yes, life living, how much you put into your life, how much people can distract you from your goals. And today's Sunday. This is Live with Mama Coco. My name is Cora Panty, and I'm excited. We are running a bit late, so without any further ado, I want to welcome you guys to our sister, Miss Tashia God's Grace Burris. Tashia, your mic is muted.
Yes, you're hearing me now, right? Good afternoon.
Yes, good
Hi,
afternoon.
Mama Coco. Thank you for the invitation to return, and good afternoon to all of your viewers this afternoon.
My viewers are your viewers today.
My viewers.
Yes. Everybody who follow me and follow Mama Coco, they are in love with you. Trust me. I can't. No, I'm serious. Everybody excited to be here with you for 90 minutes today. Yes.
But it seems like it was so long since I was last on the program. We had a whole election campaign since then and stuff. So that's what we're going to talk about this afternoon. Yeah.
That's right. So welcome to Mama Coco Life and Style. It's an honor to have you here. I'm so excited when I see you, how much you have grown politically. Yes. And I follow you even with your son. Your son, he has turned into a young adult. Yes.
It feels like it happened overnight.
Yeah, it looked like it happened overnight. But my God, I want to thank God today. Father, in your dexterity as God. Yes. And God alone. Today we emphatically come before you. Yes. Asking you for abundance in grace, peace, mercy. And I pray that it will be multiplied unto each and every one of us, all my listening audience, all Tashia's friends here on Mama Coco Life with Style. And I want to thank you, dear God, for this woman servant that you have given the world and given Tobago. Yes. Father, we are proud of you as our God, as you are proud of us as your people. So today, Tashia, welcome. Tashia, God's Grace, Burris, welcome. And may the light of God continue to shine upon you and give you the peace that you are deserving of. Oh, I am so happy to see who you are today. And I'm proud to know that you believe in yourself enough to gain the strength you need and to be who you are. In Jesus' almighty name, we pray today. Amen. I think I overdo it there. I think I pray too long.
Oh, God. It's never too long if the word from the heart.
Never too long. So, Tashia, how have you been since you last visit? Your last visit to the show?
Yeah, that was last.
And the events, and all the events of 2020. Even when you cry, even when you didn't cry.
Boy. I mean, I looked at 2020 was my year of purpose. I actually designate what my year is going to be like. So the 1st of January, I designate or I speak into being what that particular year is going to be like. So 2020 was my year of purpose because I think last year I truly found my purpose. I think I truly found or walked into the thing that I feel that God has placed me on earth to do. And in everything, aside from giving him thanks, I continue to allow him to lead me. You know, as human beings, we have expectations of outcomes. You know, we walk into a situation hoping for the best possible outcome. So what I learned, over the course of last year is at the end of the day, his will. And once you've given over to his will, any outcome is his outcome, you know. So there's no room for disappointment. There's no room for regrets. There's no room for what ifs. You know, you just do the thing that he's purposed you to do. You do it to the best of your ability. and then you go on to the next thing, and you just continue. Because sometimes the victory is in the effort, and some people don't realize that the victory might not be in the outcome, but it's in the effort, it's in the doing, because you grow so much and you become more of that which he created you to be on this earth. So last year was my year of purpose. This year is my year of intent. Yeah. So I'm going to be intentional about
Everything
everything
you
that I have to do this year. Yes.
everything you do this year is intentional. I like that. Say it again.
Intentional. Yes. Very, very intentional. So, you marry purpose with intent, because when you've not lived in your purpose for that time before you found it, you ask yourself, how what was I wasting time all this time? But your life is set up in such a way that it leads you to the thing. Now, some people are blessed to immediately be able to walk into their purpose from the time they're young or from the time they're born. And some people have to grow into their purpose. And I feel like if I'm one of those persons, I had to grow into my purpose. And now that I'm very much certain of the thing that I'm supposed to be doing, then I'm going to be very intentional about ensuring that that always remains at the forefront of my mind.
So I want to just give your word a little bit of power.
Right.
Intent with content.
Mm,
Not
that is it.
contentious,
Yes.
but with content.
No, we're content. And that is very, very true. That is very true. So that because you're very purposeful about the thing that communicates the intent, you know?
Hallelujah.
So it involves even something as simple as accepting an interview. Some people, some media, when you find out the background, they don't really add to your intent or your purpose. They're just kind of there for the bacchanal, or they're there for the
Hey,
yeah, they're not researched or anything like that, and they don't add anything, they don't add value. So I mean, last year it was important for people to see and get to know me, because nobody really knew me before I came out. But now that I'm out there, I have to be very intentional about the things that I do and the people that I allow in my space, the people that I allow to question me, the people that I allow to get into my head. Because some people don't want to get into your head for anything positive. They want to get into your head to trip you up, or they want to get into your head to discourage you, or to plant some seeds of doubt in you. So that is what the intention is for me this year, really. So, and I think I achieved that, some semblance of communicating that intent in the last election, because in the last show everybody was asking, well, why wasn't I chosen to be a candidate? And I think I answered that. I didn't go up for screening or anything like that, because I didn't feel like if that was the thing that I should have been doing. And when I prayed about it, the relationship I have with God is so funny for me. Whenever he if I pray about something and I get no answer, like I get silence, that is a no. Like, this is not for me. Because if it is that whatever I ask for, he responds. And sometimes no response is a response. And with
is a
God, no
response.
response is a response. So I prayed hard about it, because coming off the general election, and people are coming to you every day and be like, you should go up, you should run, you would win. And but when and that is the thing with me, I do not do anything without God. So when I prayed about it and I got no response, regardless of how hard I prayed, I got literally no response. That was my indication. Yeah. So I think, I believe, and it has manifested itself that I was here for a particular purpose in this election. And I'm pleased to say that I believe that I really did my best, and I think the outcome reflects that. I don't know if Mama Coco is. I am not hearing. think we're having a little bit of technical difficulties, guys. Did she just leave me? I guess we're having a little bit of technical difficulties, guys. So, Mama Coco will be back. Yeah. But good afternoon to those of you who just joined in. This is Mama Coco's Life and Style, and my name is Tashia Burris. And I hope you guys had a great weekend. I hope that you are having a wonderful Sunday. Those of you who are getting ready to go back out to work tomorrow, and those children who are going out to school tomorrow, I pray God's blessings on you. And yeah, I hope that you guys are ready for a productive week ahead, and that you guys stay safe wherever you are at, and you just be blessed. You know, try to be a blessing to people this week. In particular, try to be a blessing to people this week. I think our country had a very hard week last week. And I think right now people are at a place where they are having some very deep introspections, men and women, about the role that they play in this life, and some of the actions that we engage in, whether they be purposeful or not, that contribute to some of the things that we're seeing in society today. So I know that this was a tough week, especially for the family of Andrea Barrett, and my condolences to her family and her friends and everybody who knew her. And for me, I hate feeling helpless, and I hate feeling like if our country is not doing what we are supposed to be doing. You know, I see people passing blame and passing the buck, from police to magistrates to lawyers to government. And in truth and in fact, everybody has a part to play in where we have arrived at. And I think it's important for everybody to assess where their individual blame is. You know, I know of young men who engage in certain activity, and they may do it on purpose or not on purpose. They may shoot a girl on the side of the road, catcall, you know, invade somebody's personal space, and they don't think that they're committing a crime. They don't think they're doing anything wrong. But part of that behavior that some men exhibit, where they feel that a woman is just property and they can do and treat that woman however they feel, that is part of our problem. Part of our problem is our justice system. You know.
Hello.
Hey,
Are you hearing me
hi.
now?
Yes, I am.
Oh, nice. I had was
Yes,
to
I
go out
am.
and stop the call and then go
Okay.
back into settings.
Right.
Yes.
Good.
Well, I miss most of what you said there. We're not gonna go back into it, but we have a new
Right.
question. Did you start to answer this new question?
No, I haven't. I was waiting for you.
So Tashia, have you experienced any negative, any negative fallout as a result of becoming a public figure?
Ooh, that is very interesting.
Like you know,
It all depends on
like
what people. I have to think. You know, what I have to think is because my view of what somebody may see as negative, I try to turn everything that may be perceived to be a negative into a positive. Okay, so the reality is that since my emergence in the politics, yes, people have done nasty things. Yes, I believe people were messing with me spiritually. Yes, I
ah,
would. Yeah, yes, I would see very hateful comments on social media and things like that. So, yes, certainly being in the spotlight in that way, and choosing the party that I chose, all the trolls and all the people with low self-esteem would come out and try to attack me because of the stance that I've taken. And the reality is that even with social media, I've sanitized my eyes a bit. So anybody I see saying anything negative about me, I block them immediately. So I don't have to see them, because it says to me that you're gonna attack me based on the choice that I've made. I'm pretty certain if I had chosen the other side, everybody would have all these nice things to say about me. And the beautiful thing about the party that I have particularly chosen is that we don't play the game that way. You know, they have their figures on the other side, and we don't go to great lengths to attack them and demean them and slander them and that kind of thing. If you hear us saying anything at all, it's because it's grounded in truth. On the other hand, truth is that they are strangers to truth on the other side, and they intend to play the game however they choose to win. And if they have to destroy somebody mentally, physically, emotionally to do so, they'll do so. It remains to be seen if I continue to live in Tobago and I decide, oh, I want to apply for a job in the Tobago House of Assembly. If for some reason they get to go back there, if I'm blacklisted or anything like that. But these things don't bother me. You know why these things don't bother me? Because one of the things my father raised me to think and believe is that my education, nobody could take that away from me. You understand? And my character is who I am. So that I'm not waiting for a handout from anybody on the other side because they like me or anything like that. At the end of the day, I think all this negativity just fuels me to be better and do better and do greater things in the name of fairness, in the name of justice, in the name of equality, and in the name of ensuring that we could all live in a Tobago where it doesn't matter what political choice you make. It should not determine how far you go in life. It shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter if I'm one color or the next in terms of equitable distribution of resources or opportunities. Opportunity should be for people who are capable and not because I'm friends with somebody in the hierarchy or because I'm a relative of theirs. Because we see so much people, getting ahead in life all because of their connections and their incompetence. You understand? And the island is suffering because of that. The nepotism has been very deep in our souls right now, and that is what I'm trying to uproot, that poison fruit of corruption and nepotism. So if in this lifetime, the sacrifice I have to make is upward mobility and being able to be rich or access opportunities, I gladly give it up because I'm creating a future for my children where they feel comfortable to live at home and know that if they go to school and get qualified and they are people of integrity and good character, that they could walk into any workplace and apply for a job. And they'll be given an opportunity to show themselves what they can do and what they're made of. So that's the kind of Tobago I want to build. And if they're on the other side trying not to do that, then we, the people of Tobago, certainly have some very serious decisions to make.
I could remember when you were here last, not even before the election, and I tried to ask you things about Miss Kojo. You were so positive. You never tore her apart. You never ever spoke anything that could make you seem like if you are part of what you experience with the opposition. You spoke very evenly. You said you know her well, but you don't know her that much, so that you can't speak of her in a negative. And you give her some credit. I even was saying, stop giving credit. Speak of who they are and speak how you feel.
I'll tell you this, and for me, my thoughts have not changed too much. I would just say that between then and now, she's only further compounded my disappointment in her lack of representation. And the thing is that, okay, you fought this election, you won. Congratulations, the election is over. Get down to work. You get paid. Get to work for the people of Tobago. We have not seen you. We only hear you ever so often, depending on what the situation is. And more often than not, I hear bacchanal more than anything making sense for somebody who is in a position where they can say they have experience. And I think that the person, I don't know if they have not done any introspection or very little introspection, but the reality is what people simply wanted was representation, full stop, and you have continued to disappoint. And that is just me calling a spade a spade. People could be upset about that. I don't really care too much because we are spending money for these people to represent us in Parliament, right? Even with the situation with the Crown Point residents who received Section 4 notices 10 days before Christmas. You are the representative for that area. Where were you to show care? Where were you to walk house to house to these residents and comfort them or give them a kind word or to look up on their well-being? I read an article today by Elspeth Duncan, and she indicated in the article that a number of the residents are over 60, and some of them have suffered increased medical issues as a result of the stress of the situation. People have suffered strokes, heart attacks, people have died. Where's the representative? This is not about politics, this is about people. Where are you to make people feel assured that their voices would be heard, that they would be comforted and they would be made comfortable, even in some very uncomfortable situations? How are you going to tell somebody who's 65 or 67 or 70 to leave their house and go and rent when they spend their whole life trying to build this house and to build this legacy, to leave something for their children? And it appears that you just have no care whatsoever. You just say progress, progress, progress at the expense of people. And that is not what people need. Doesn't matter whether they voted for you or not. You are there. You are in a position to do something. So that's what I'll say about that.
I want you to expound a little bit more on what you just said, especially for people who live in abroad and they may not know what direction we are in right now and how perilous the situation is. You see, I have personal experience with someone who they have to leave right now. And the place that they were preparing, the monies that they gave them cannot fix the place that they're supposed to move into.
Even the
with their 4 children, where they have to leave their home in Canaan. They were given notice that they have to get out this week.
The place that they earmarked. The place that they earmarked for the residents is not even ready, and they gave assurances since last year, August, before the election.
Mention the word airport, because like people want to know more, because
so what you're saying. So this is concerning the airport expansion project. So they identify the residents who have to move. Some have already moved, and if anybody is, maybe this week I'll go down and do a video for people to see what it, because it's like a surreal feeling when I drive down Scarborough local road and I see the demolition taking place where there were once majestic houses. People lived and grew their children up there. Mango trees where men used to climb and eat mango since they're little boys, now cut down and broken up into to basically firewood. And you're seeing houses being demolished every day. So like a house is being demolished here, and then next place a house that is standing because that person is saying, you know what, I'm not moving, I'm going to hold out because better has to be done. But when you look around, you literally see the dismantling of a community, and one of the residents summed it up correctly: you cannot have progress at the expense of humanity. And they are selling our humanity in the name of progress. Nobody is against having an airport, but it's not what you do, it's how you do it. Because at the end of the day, and this is one thing that I always believe in, you see that whole do unto others as you would have them do unto you. What I would never want for myself, how could I want that for somebody else? I would not want anybody to uproot me from the home that I have known for my entire life, pelt money at me as if I can eat it, and then tell me, okay, your 2 or 3 acres is now equivalent to 1 lot in Coop, and you could only build 5,000 square feet. But the cost of building 5,000 square feet with the $500,000 or the 600,000 that you give me, I can't even get a proper foundation. So you're literally rendering me homeless in the name of progress, and you're telling me that you care for me. You're telling me that you're standing in my defense. You're telling me that you want to build this island better when you're tearing down my life. How can we build an island better when we're tearing down the lives of the people who live here? And I don't understand. I don't believe that they even think about the deep implications of using a slogan or a tagline in an election campaign, when there's clear evidence that they've built nothing, when there's clear evidence that they're tearing down our society, when there's clear evidence that they don't give a damn. And that is what angers me, especially when I drive in that area, because it's so full of history. People don't understand the historical significance of the land that they stand on, that people could trace their generations through, passing down of land from one family to another. And there is no repository of that information.
So in a sense, you want to stress to tell people that they have stolen, and they have displaced, generational wealth from the people of Canaan on accord, without any thought.
They have not even thought to give them the equivalent. You understand what I'm saying? Because you can't tell me that I've owned this land for 50 years. And because you have designated agricultural land, you could only give me 250,000. You're not even paying me for the 50 years that I occupied that land. You're not
Hey,
paying me for the money that I would lose from future use if you didn't take my land from me. Because you
hey,
don't know, I might be able to knock up a 12 by 12 shack, but my grandchild might be able to build apartments, or my great grandchildren might build a
mm,
hotel, or somebody might build a school, or somebody might build a healthcare facility. You
mm.
can't even think what that land could do 20, 30 years from now. You're not paying me for ripping away my ability to speak future use and speak future wealth into that land. You want to
Hallelujah.
give me what it's worth today. And at the end of the day, I want Tobagonians to really truly understand what we have done in voting in people who just don't give a damn about us.
Hey,
And it shows. They come around election time. You only see them when they're walking around with candidates. They're only there to throw shade on Facebook. But to be there for the people in a real way, the way that true representatives should be, they are absent. It's Casper the Friendly Ghost. So that is okay. You know why? Because for me, I don't have to worry about being a representative in parliament to advocate for people. I can stand on the outside and get arrested for peacefully protesting, and that is fine because I can stand up for myself, and it frees me
hallelujah.
up to do that.
So explain to the people that they're claiming it to be agricultural lands, yet they put in an airport.
Right. So
Have
here
any
the smart
hotel,
man thing is.
have any hotel been displaced? Any big, any
I
rare?
think not major hotels. I think like small guest houses and stuff. People who have like apartments and things like that um, would be in that list of people who have to move. The thing is that we have terrible record keeping and terrible administration when it comes to our lands in Tobago. And tongue and country planning has been behind in doing their jobs. So that you would find that however many years after, the lands in the area, people built their houses, built their business, kind of thing. They never sought to change the use of the land from agriculture to residential commercial. And it works in their favor because they can pay them next to nothing for the land, even though people have hotels and guest houses, even though people have built massive houses, even though people still engage in agricultural activities on a commercial scale in the area, because they haven't done that change of use. Now you could turn around and tell the residents, well, it's agricultural land, so I can pay you next to nothing. When in truth and in fact, that land has the use of it has evolved over the years. And if we had a proactive tongue and country planning department, Tobago is a small place. It's easy to look in areas of Tobago and say, okay, this land is no longer strictly agricultural. We've seen residential settlements going up there. We're seeing commercial activity taking place there. How hard it is for somebody in tongue and country planning to simply do the job that they are paid to do. And it doesn't take legislation for them to do that. It doesn't take a politician instructing them to do that. All
Hey,
it takes is for them to say, look, Tobago is now no longer the Tobago it was 30, 40 years ago when most people were engaging in agricultural activities. And if they
hey,
had any hotels, it was major developments. You now have people who have 10 and 12 acres building small villages, selling it out as residential lots for persons to build houses. So how are you going to tell me that that person now is being paid next to nothing, all because somebody simply didn't do their job? And these are some of the things that autonomy is supposed to address. These are some of the things that a proactive Tobago House of Assembly is supposed to address. But we've had people in office for the last 20 years who become very complacent about their role in society. And that is why we have so many of these issues now.
you on a roll. But I have to come in a little bit. Because then this is, you see, the tongue and country is not independent. They've never been. They're pretending that they are. But I remember in my situation, when I applied for a bar license at my restaurant there in Argyle. And I applied, I got my cousin Mervyn Trotman. He did the application, very professional. I had my cousin Anthony Richardson, a fire officer. He did all my signs and doors and exit. He did everything for me. And I applied. You know what? Do you know what saying? Do you know? I don't like to get thrown off. Because you see, when I start to talk, I just be on a roll. It's no hint of nepotism. I got my plan made up for my place and I applied for my bar license. You know what that town and country woman from Trinidad did to me? She turned me down claiming that my building is too close to the road. And one Thursday, when I went in to look for her, she was not there. A Friday. No, it was a Thursday. The next day was the big market day. And I met the town and country woman speaking to my neighbor, head and head. And when I get to see her now the Friday, she turned down my application. Now, I was sent to the agricultural bank with a letter that they give you, like a bill of comfort at that time, and they said that I could get a loan. So big people, including ministers, sent me to go to Agriculture Bank. Agriculture Bank tell me that my property at Argyle is not agricultural land. There is no land in the east, especially Argyle Roxborough, that wasn't Forest Park Estate. Hello?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Forest Park Estate own all the lands there. Yes, they sold it to the Roxborough Estate Committee, which Orville London and them end up buying and giving to who they want and selling it how they want. So when you speak today now of these people who are in control, who can help and to be on the spot for people, like Tongue and Country. Tongue and Country, they are failure. They're a bunch of crooked people. They take bribe, because I'm telling you, I met that woman and I saw the head and head, and that person have business place closer than me, that's selling spirits and liquor, and I was turned down because of friendship.
And that is the thing.
And
where are the
listen, this just come in. That person didn't only sell retail liquor, they end up getting afterwards a bar license. And I never get you. That woman messed with my mind. So how can they have hotels building on agricultural lands in Canaan? If it's agricultural lands, how we have Crown Reef, how we have Crown this, how we have all them hotels? Answer me that.
It's the lack of accountability, because if somebody turns you down at Tongue and Country, you don't even get a hearing. You don't even know where you have to go to challenge a decision that is made. There is no system where
she didn't
you
even
can
call me in to talk to me.
Of somebody. So, and that is why people are so frustrated that the system does not work, and they can't challenge it when it does not work. And that is why you have a lot of people just building on their own and erecting structures however best they can. And it's a whole callaloo of problems, because you have something that is supposed to regulate this thing and it doesn't work. So people do what they have to do. Yeah. And the law has its loopholes that allow people to do that, but it's now in situations where the government has to acquire these lands again. You see where how thick the callaloo is. Yeah. And that is why we have to insist that our institutions must work. They must work, so that even if you were turned down, she should have been able to tell you the stipulation is that your business place must be 10 feet from the roadway, and you can measure the 10 feet and you're able to say, well, no, my business place is 15 feet or 20 feet from the roadway, instead of just arbitrarily turning you down and you don't have anybody to turn to in terms of getting redress. So the thing is that I always say to people, Tobago is so small. We are the perfect size to have all of our government systems running at an optimum level. In other words, the cost and price of doing business in Tobago should be far easier.
I love what you just said there. I always have to come in and put my finger up with you, because you're hitting the nail, you're hitting all the plugs in the right place and at the right time. First, they had was to have a hearing with me, and then I would have let them know that there is no business place, you hear me, that is away from main road, that have bar license, and to prevent me from having. Roxborough, every place is right by the road. From Russell Price, everybody was by the road. And I applied before all of these people,
And they get through.
Sister, I applied before everybody else. Even my neighbor right here, Mr. Charles, I applied before all of these people. The whole of Speyside is on the road. Charlottesville is on the road. But this lady here, and then people say, but I am PNM.
Yeah.
PNM never do anything for me.
But that has nothing to do with anything.
Goodwood is on the road. Mount St. George is on the road. Hope is on the road.
In fact, some of them are so close to the road that as a motorist, if you take your eyes off, if you don't know the road and you're coming down from country or something like that where you're driving up, a car may very well end up in the middle of some of these business places because of how they are situated so close to the roadside. If you take your eyes off the road for a split second, or if you suffer some medical episode, and these are the things that you see happening every single day. Look at that unit trust building in Scarborough. They literally put that building in the roadway, they built the pavement in the road, and that building is still standing for today, and that's a major financial institution. So when you see the kind of things that are happening in society which should not, and you as a small man, as they just call you, you're watching these kinds of things happen. That is why we have this level of lawlessness that is taking place in our society, because our systems have fallen down, our institutions don't do what they are supposed to. It is too much corruption inside. There's too much nepotism inside. There's too many people in positions of authority who are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. And at the end of the day, there's no one to call them to account. And that is what they are afraid of. They are afraid that a PDP administration would go in there and attempt to clean up this mess that we have found themselves in. And the reality is that we have to clean up the mess. We don't have a choice now, because the mess is preventing true progress from taking place. The mess is preventing our best and brightest from coming home and transforming this island to be an example and a beacon in the Caribbean. All of this mess, nobody wants to walk into a dirty house, so we got to clean up the house. We got to clean up the house, and then we have to invite people in. What we have to do, you understand? And people are going to be fighting tooth and nail to hold on to this dirty house. But Tobago has every right to breathe. It's time for us to exhale. It's time for us to grow. It's time for us to breathe easy, as my good friend Joel Nutsi Sampson says. He says, breathe easy. It's time for us to breathe easy. You understand? And this is what excites me. This part of the fight is what excites me.
Coming back for you again. Everybody walking around as if we are asthma. We need to breathe easy.
We need to breathe easy, yeah.
So there's another question here for you. Oh, this is so deep that
we get right into the thing,
we ain't even hit what we come on the show for yet, but we're here for everything. Because you are an all-rounder. I told you, you have grown so much that I am ready to be a part of what you stand for. I am telling you, you are awesome. And I love how the way you are articulating everything that you have to say. That's why I'm saying that you come now with content. Yes. To deal with all those contentious people. And they're behaving as if they're contented, all because they tell themselves that if the truth should show up and transparency governance should rule the day in the Tobago House of Assembly, we have to visit a lot of them in Raymond Yard or some other yard, but not their own yard. So another question here for you, my love. Tashia, what is your take, right, on the results of the recently completed 2021? This is not 2020 now. You didn't run, but you're here. And we want your perspective on everything. 2021 Tobago House of Assembly, THA election. I'm folding my hand for this one.
Well, first of all, I must say that being involved in the campaign very intimately, we were expecting more seats. That's the first thing. We were expecting more seats. But it has come down to 6-6, and I look at the spiritual significance of any result. And that result to me is very spiritually significant at this time. The 2021 election really opened the door, I think, for people to dream differently. To envision a Tobago that is not suffering within the grip of a PNM-led Tobago House of Assembly. And if you see, all the shenanigans are taking place right now, they're trying their very best to hold on to power. But it's like trying to hold sand in your hand. If you squeeze tighter, more sand slips out. And that eventually they'll have to let this island go. So I see this as really an opening of the gates. I mean, think about it. We had one seat that we won by just 17 votes. That was Bethel. We had one seat that we narrowly lost by 57 votes. I think that was Canaan One Accord. And I saw a rising up of my people. We had our public meetings, and there was this school of thought that in the beginning, because my role was largely to work behind the scenes to pull off these public meetings. So people got to see, as I say, the lady and the lioness. People get to see the lady this time because I didn't have to be the lioness. A number of persons emerged in this sphere that were ready to take up the mantle. So I think that my run in the general election inspired a lot of people to come forward, and that's something that I look as a positive. And thank God for that, because now we have more voices to add to the mix. So everybody got to see the lady, everybody got to see the organizer, everybody got to see the manager, everybody got to see the strategist. And with our public meetings, one of the things that I said immediately to Pali was it's quality over quantity this time. So it's not about going to 100 different places. It's about going to 10 places and hitting the ball out of the park 10 times. Yeah? So that you would notice that our public meetings had a different look and feel than they had to the general election. And that was on purpose, and I have to immediately thank the team that I worked with. Everybody played such an integral part in ensuring that they morphed in the way that they did. And from all accounts, I know that they were very well received, because what it essentially did was display the fact that the party is ready for governance. And that is what was my intention from the beginning, that we have to show the people of Tobago that this is not a fly-by-night organization. This is not an organization that takes on the personality of their leadership. And because people would see Mr. Duke and he's a fighter and he's rugged and and that is fine, because there are times that we need that. There are times that we need the tanks to bulldoze through the door and the rest of the party to go in. But I also wanted people to see the kind of persons that we have working in this party. We have the intellectuals, we have the PhD students, we have the canvassers who are on the ground, we have our prayer warriors, we have our MCs, the people who have that kind of talent, we have our stage people. And I think especially in that last meeting that we had in Roxborough, and that was the culmination of our public meeting campaign, it brought together all the elements of what we were trying to sell to Tobago people in this time. There's that song that became our theme song. We had almost 2 de facto theme songs for our campaign, and those things happened purely by chance, and they are not even political songs, really, which is When God Bless a Man, that Pastor Baines used to sing almost every night. he actually sang that in an office opening as a guest artist. And from the day he sang that song, that became almost our de facto theme song for the campaign. So every time he went on stage, he had to sing When God Bless a Man, because it was a song that resonated across Tobago. It basically showed, look, it doesn't matter what man do. You see, when God bless you, nothing could stop you. And that speaks to the resilient PDP spirit.
Before you go further, I don't want to forget the name. Can you encourage Pastor Bain to come and sit on Mama Coco Life and Style?
Yes, certainly.
Thank you. I just like Pastor Bain.
Certainly.
I just think
Yes,
he's my friend,
yes.
and I don't know him, So may I have Pastor Bain?
No, I will send you his contact as soon as the show is over.
Yes. Thank you so much. I don't need contact for
Yes.
Sister Zia. She just owe me one.
Oh, you have one?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, okay.
She owe me a sit down,
Right.
Yeah. But right now,
Okay, no problem.
continue on what I
Yes,
hate to
so
disrupt
that
you.
song.